gonna say it to me. So walking away, so screwing with me. So nothing can change your mind, but give me one last try. Now you look like you know that it's over, but I don't. Before we go our separate ways, I just need to ask one thing. Remember tonight, oh, can you promise me that you'll always remember tonight? When you see that morning light, remember there's one thing you should know. Baby, there's something that will last forever. I look at your face lit up in candlelight. Never wanna forget the way you look tonight. It's all falling apart around us, and I just wanna make this moment last for all time. You look like you know that it's over, but I don't. Before we go our separate ways, I just need to ask one thing. Remember tonight, oh, can you promise me that you'll always remember tonight? When you see that morning light, remember there's one thing you should know. 'Cause baby, there's something that will last forever.
Yeah, it's Ember Phoenix. Shout out to One Take. Cold City, West London. Here we go. I know you've been in love. It's nuts. This is one of my stories. Yeah? Okay. So fly, she got me bugging out. I'm a snail without my shell, I got to slug it out. Told her I'm a boss, do nothing but a lover's drought. Told her I'm about to bust and even got a rubber out. Told her really it's no joke, I was born this way. She just kissed the teeth, cut her eyes and walked away. You know that awkward moment when you wish you thought to say, baby come back, but not today. It's like her heart is locked away. It's like she took mine and threw it in a copter blade. Your heart is broken, that's what the doctors say. I want it now, but I got to wait. She's back with him, saw them hugging again. Now she only hug me like she hugging a friend. I feel dumber than Stimpy and more stubborn than Ren, but I can't bring myself to be loving again. And I swear that maybe, baby, somewhere I found somebody that's like you, like you, like you, yeah. And I swear that maybe, baby, somewhere I found somebody that's like you, like you, like you, yeah. Look, for real, I'm a nerd. I think fucking is absurd, but your mugging has been rubbing on my nerves. I'm left to stroking my dick while he's rubbing on your curves. Am I a prick? He gets a meal while I'm stuck with the hors d'oeuvres. And I heard how he made a vow, how you want his babies now. Probably invite my sister to the baby shower. I'm sitting in my room thinking, going crazy wild. If you were my baby mama, I'll be major proud. And I swear that maybe, baby, somewhere I found somebody that's like you, like you, like you, yeah. And I swear that maybe, baby, somewhere I found somebody that's like you, like you, like you, yeah, hey.
Great day, man. It's good seeing you, man. Yeah, it's my It's my second exhibition show.
Point in your picture.
Yeah, it's me right here. Yeah. Joe the Solari, he called too while he at it. Herman, how you doing?
Dow, I created these masterpieces. One is my best friend in the morning sunlight, reading the magazine. The other one is because he's a smoke Nazi and he hates cigarettes, so I just had to include it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Baby, you know, because I've seen that look before. You're uncomfortable, and it's my fault. All I know is I love it when you smile at me. But you've been frowning a lot lately, cause you're mad at me. But I will make it up to you, girl, just you wait and see. And I promise you truly that no buts, no ifs, no maybes. Girl, I'm changing. If I told you lately you're amazing. And I'm thankful that you picked me out that crowd. And I'm so proud that you're my lady, my lady, my lady. It's gonna take a lot more work than usual to convince you I'm for real. Girl, I know that you may feel that I have been neglecting you and very disrespectful to you. And I apologize sincerely, but you know deep down in your soul that we're too compatible for me to ever let you go. Oh, girl, I'm changing. Have I told you lately you're amazing? And I'm thankful that you picked me out that crowd. And I'm so proud that you're my lady, my lady, my lady.
You said earlier about the electric vehicles. You said
The life of the vehicle, by the thing I was reading, was a 25-year life, and which is stretching it for most ICs. And it was also including a replacement battery pack. It cost, I think, $8,000 for a new battery pack for the Nissan Leaf. So it was including that as well into its lifetime cost. So even with that, paying for the car, which is I think around 27 to 30,000 for a Leaf, brand new, adding another 8 on top of that, and then just other maintenance and grid power. And that's why getting solar power reduces that even further over its lifetime, because that will help pay off your solar system even faster, as well as help you gain the benefits driving-wise.
Are the dealerships still being blocked in Ohio and other places? Factory dealers, and what end runs are available that way?
The dealerships are really latching back at electric vehicles. Why? Because they do make most of their money in maintenance. You pay for the car, and you pay triple that what you paid for it over its lifetime in maintenance. So you can tell they get, like even the place here in town in Athens, they won't sell Leafs or maintenance them, because that starts getting going here. That means lack of business for him.
It's economically wise to buy it, but it's not economically wise to sell it. Is that right?
Right now it's not, because it's the EV, they're scared of it. Nobody knows quite how to think about it. One of William's friends came over and saw their Leaf and drove around in it with them, and they were like, "Oh, this is a real car." Yes, it's a real. There's a fear based around it.
Right, yes.
An EV anxiety, I think is what they call it, because they're feared of electronics. So yeah, when they reselling these, they're not being able to resell them very high because it's a used electronic. I think this is a very short little phase. As soon as people realize a used Leaf is just as good as a new Leaf, because there's very little that can go wrong in between. The Leafs that she was talking about come as low as $8,000 for a used Leaf, and it had 40,000 miles on it. Like almost nothing. And
So-
like the 13,000 ones had like 20 and
Right.
30,000 miles.
But are the companies that are selling them, are they making money?
I mean, they're making money on the car.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just thinking differently about where your profit is going to come from?
Exactly.
Okay.
Different kind of.
Yeah, you have to shift your thought, your frame of mind around IC engines to electric, because it's a totally different one in how you think about it.
The most surprising thing for me was that the car had hundreds or maybe thousands of tiny batteries along the floor of the car. Is that the way with all the electric cars? There's not one battery?
That's mostly it. I mean, the Tesla, it's a part of the frame. The whole underbody, basically there's like a front suspension and motor in the Tesla and a rear suspension and motor in the Tesla, and there's nothing but batteries in between. It's the frame, it's the power source, it's everything, and it sits right under your feet. Crazy thing about Teslas is the new one is actually going to have an autopilot, which is nuts. It will change lanes for you. You can put it on autopilot and say go here, and it will, if you're still in the driver's seat, it will alert you if you're coming up on an object too fast, a car too fast. If you're trying to merge and somebody's over there in your blind spot, it'll tell you. Or if you have it on autopilot, it will avoid it for you.
So when can I take a nap?
I don't know if I would ever get that comfortable, but it might happen in the future.
Can you say more about where one might look for used EVs?
Mostly online. Most of just the normal car sites like Car Direct, Cars. A lot of your big online used car sellers is where I've been seeing them and finding them.
$8,000 for a battery pack? How often do you have to change batteries?
They don't know yet because none of the ones that they've made so far have run out. They're guessing 10 years a battery pack will last you. Tesla has a 10-year warranty on their battery pack. I don't think Nissan Leaf gives quite that much. Not a 10-year, but they do give a significant year warranty on it.
Toyota dealer in Marietta has done 2 battery replacements in Priuses.
So that's a hybrid.
And
That's a hybrid.
Yeah.
And the battery
They've
is
been around
basically
a
a
long
7-year warranty, but the dealer has replaced 2 batteries.
That's it. Yeah, and they've been around a lot longer than the Leaf.
About 15 years.
Yeah.
I heard that the cost of replacing the batteries is about $7,000 for the Prius.
So it's a way down to that. It's half of that now.
Half of that.
Yeah.
And the other neat thing is now Nissan is working on a 200-mile range battery that they said that is hopefully going to be available either at the end of this year or 2016. So now if you get your battery replaced, you get 100 more miles to your charge. For it was the same cost as well. It's just the technology is just going very quickly.
What, the 100, 200 mile per charge figure, is that based on straight level roads?
Almost every one of these EVs has regenerative batteries so that it actually helps with regenerative motors, helps with hills. So when you're going downhill, it's charging your battery. You're not using any power, and it's actually giving you power. Because William lives up on a hill, so when he's coming down into town, he has, and it shows you, like, instead of a gas gauge, it shows you how many miles left. He'll have more miles when he gets to town than when he started at home, because it's all downhill to get to town. I mean, it's only a couple more miles added, but still.
It's like running the meter backwards.
Yeah, it really helps level out that what people fear, like, oh no, I'm going to have to use a ton going up hills and it's going to kill that 100 miles, but it really doesn't because of that.
Hybrids have that too.
Yeah.
Golf, is that?
That one's new. I don't know anything about it. There's a VW came out with a Golf that is going to be fully electric, but it's new and I don't know. I haven't heard much
Isn't
about
there
it.
a Canadian one that Canada doesn't allow them to sell in Canada, but it's selling in the U.S. and other countries? I don't remember the name of it.
Sparrow?
Maybe. I saw something on
Anyway.
TV about it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of little companies making these little one-man electric
It was
vehicles.
bigger than that,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was small.
Okay, and then and then there's some little two-seaters, and there's the little off-brand companies that are doing it. Right now, the main companies, Mercedes now has an electric, BMW, Nissan, Chevy, Ford.
This is really limited in where you can get the VW one.
Oh, yeah.
Not in our area.
I want to not just talk about all the economic stuff because there's a big part about the CO2 stuff too I want to get to before I have time.
Has anyone measured EMF ranges from the cars to see if people who are riding in the cars are experiencing
Higher levels.
potential adverse effects from EMFs? And like, for instance, do people with pacemakers, can they drive an electric car?
I don't know the answer for sure. I know that they do use protective layers between I was looking at, just because I'm a mechanical engineer, nerd out. There are protective layers because the batteries are below you. They have, I assume it's something like a Faraday cage, like something to block that EMF, probably not 100%, but to help reduce that in that area. But I don't know if, they didn't say the exact composite, probably because it's patented or something of that nature. Okay. But I know they do have a protective something.
Okay. All right.
Well, that would be interesting for somebody to do a little more research on.
Yeah.
Is this AC or DC?
I think a lot of them are using the three-phase DC motors, which are new and super efficient and regenerative and all of the above, all in one. But that's good. I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm mechanical.
So how do you go on to?
So carbon emissions it's if you take an IC engine, put it at the top, an electric charged off of the grid via mostly coal is directly half the CO2 emissions. Plug-in hybrids are right in between, complete EVs, and then solar charged electric vehicles are an eighth of
Would you repeat?
IC engines. Then you've got the electric hybrids that they're about 3/4 of the emissions of a normal IC engine. Then you've got an electric vehicle charged off the grid, which is half the carbon emissions of the IC engine, and then an electric vehicle, which is an eighth of the carbon emissions of an IC.
Solar charge.
Yes. Most of the carbon emissions in that sense are coming just from manufacturing, and they're a one-time emissions and then they're done, unlike the rest of the vehicles. That one's a continual, so I mean, and that was only over a given time, so that there's even more and more advantages and ways to look at solar charged electric vehicles, but that one definitely is the most sustainable way to own an electric vehicle. Like the Nissan Leaf, you would need about 1,500 watts of 1,500 to 2,000 watts of solar energy produced at your residence, and for an average 30,000 miles in a year, it would take about a 2 kilowatt solar array to come out even with that electric vehicle usage over 30,000 miles.
The one that was at the
That's Dennis's, yeah. Dennis Miller. Yeah, he made that from scratch.
University contests, every year for like solar cars traveling across the country with panels all over the car and stuff, will solar panels get efficient enough to have an onboard solar charger on the car?
It's basically they're mostly waiting on solar panels to get more efficient before that's really viable, just because of the amount of space. Right now, industry standard is move. Now it's sitting around 20% efficient is about standard. Just 2 years ago it was 15. It's increasing and increasing steadily, and I forget which research institute got 55% efficiency out of solar recently, but it was that big. It was itty bitty and concentrated. So they had concentrated sunlight coming onto one little bitty solar panel and getting 51% efficiency out of it. The fact that they've done that will keep pushing towards that. I definitely could see cars covered in solar panels.
Somewhere around 8 to 10 years ago, they were talking about this solar film that you could print off on your computer with the right ink or something, some special cartridge or something.
The way a solar cell is made isn't that complicated. It is, but it isn't. The composites that they use are composites that can be liquefied. So yeah, that's why the solar roadways, the solar paint, they're coming up with all kinds of stuff. Oh, that's a neat idea right now, but really they're like 1 and 2 and 5% efficient. They're not really viable yet. Maybe they will be, but right now they're more or less just cute ideas.
So the most developed, or the longest developed, is the Nissan Leaf?
No, I use Nissan Leaf just because right now it's the most popular as far as electric cars bought in the US. It's been great. I mean, I've seen at least, I know 4 different Leafs in Athens because I just pick them out. That one, there's 2 red ones and 2 gray ones. Well, one of William Beals is one of them, but then I've seen 3 others besides his, so it's neat seeing them driving around town.
So there's no argument anymore for going hybrid?
Not really. The only argument there is still range and availability of charge. So if you're a traveler going cross country, what a lot of people are suggesting is just you get a hybrid and you get an electric. You have your hybrid, or what I've seen some people doing is starting small little co-ops.
That's just what I was thinking. They need to have 1 or 2 AREC hybrids for people's long-range trips. You can sign it out.
We're semi-playing with that, me and some friends right now, because I'm really looking at getting a Leaf, trading in one of our cars to get a Leaf, but my family lives in Texas, so it's hard to get there a couple times a year and a Leaf. What we're trying to talk to, just a couple friends, okay, you get a Leaf, you keep a truck, you keep a high miles per gallon car that we can go, so we have access to the different vehicles we would need, but be able to have the Leaf be our daily driver, because yeah, that's, and also people are normally afraid of the range being a big, range anxiety is another term used around electric vehicles, just because of that fact. You have to take so long to charge in between usage, but the average person drives in a day 30 miles. Across the board, everybody, the average is 30 miles, and so all electric vehicles can do that easily.
What about snow and ice and all-wheel drive, and aren't EVs lightweight?
They are-ish, but the batteries weigh a lot still. And a lot of them, the Leaf is 2-wheel drive, all the Teslas are going to be all-wheel drive. The Model S, the sports car one, is all-wheel drive, and all models after that are, the Model X and the Model 3 are both all-wheel drive, and I'm just not as familiar with the Golf. I assume VW would probably make theirs all-wheel drive because they're good about doing that.
Is the Leaf front-wheel drive?
Yes. Carol said it handled great this winter.
With a Subaru all-wheel drive, if something goes wrong with one of your tires, you have to buy 2 tires or 4 tires depending on what model you have. So if the new cars are all-wheel drive vehicles, are they going to run into the same situation where you have to replace your tires by the axle, or I don't know how many?
In pairs, most likely, because that's the way a lot of the all-wheel drive cars are doing it. They're putting an engine up front and an engine out back. So the engine up front's driving those 2, the engine in back's driving those 2. I know the reason they do that is just the outer dimension of the tire would be different from a new tire to a used tire. And so you can't have 2 different sizes or it affects your traction.
Anybody already have an electric vehicle among us?
You've got what?
I've got a commuter car. It was made in early 1970 when the oil embargo was going on.
I just bought a Cadillac from him. It was over the barrel.
Almost have it running. It's a project car, but it's basically a glorified golf cart. But even it's going to be able to go 50 miles an hour and get 50 to 60 miles to a charge. I'm going to be using it to commute to Williams and back, which is 15 miles each way. So I'll be fine.
How many of us have a hybrid? Whoa, see.
I'm on my second hybrid.
Did a tractor to fully electric for Pawpaw Fest last year.
This one was at the Pawpaw Fest.
Can we actually plow
I
with
can show
that?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of work with it. Sickle bar, plow, and cultivators have all been run through it so far. Regardless of if you're ethically geared towards renewables for ethical reasons. Economically, it's starting to make a lot of sense. Right now, the average cost over the lifetime of a vehicle, the electric vehicles are exactly half. The comparison I was reading was a Toyota Corolla, very typical car, versus the Nissan Leaf.
Talking about the cost of operating.
Cost of operation, maintenance, fuel, everything included.
Really depreciation?
All of the above. Because the electric vehicles do not depreciate at the same rate IC engines do, nowhere near close. Because I don't know, you drive a 10-year-old car and you feel it when you're driving a IC engine. And electric vehicles, there's basically only a couple moving parts compared to thousands in an IC engine. And every moving part means one more thing to go wrong. Electric vehicles, you got wheels and a motor turning, and that's almost it, steering. William Beale has a Nissan Leaf, and he's always throws out that joke. He opens up the maintenance part in his little booklet, and you know, like in most IC engines, it's pages long, and 30,000 miles do this, 60, that, yada yada, a whole long list. This was a paragraph about this big. It said, check your windshield wiper fluid. Check power steering fluid, and there was like 2 other little things that were nothing. So it was just, the maintenance is basically zero.
Brake pad.
Very little in comparison. They cost about half over their lifetime. If they are charged by solar, it cuts that in half again, so it's a fourth the cost. Just because when you're charging off the grid, you have to pay for that electricity. It uses quite a bit, all the above, but yeah, it drops it immensely. They're also a lot more efficient at converting electricity to power to the wheels. Body power that you're getting from coal or anything like that via the electricity converted to the power to the wheels is around 60% on an electric vehicle, whereas the amount of energy coming out of gasoline to power to the wheels is about 20%. Overall more efficient, overall saves over its lifetime immensely, and it's mostly because of maintenance, because like the thing with electric vehicles is you have a high upfront cost, but the maintenance is almost nothing. Whereas you buy a normal IC engine car, the cost is about a fourth, but 3/4 of the cost over its lifetime is in maintenance. It's not in the initial cost of the car, including the price of gasoline and all of the above. So it's economics is driving this forward, and right now the average electric car gets about 100 miles to a charge, and that's rapidly changing. It's fixing to double this next year easily. Tesla's already done it. But yeah, even Tesla is coming out with 2 new versions of their line. Right now they have the Model S, and that's the super sports car, crazy, awesome, fun, but can't touch it price-wise. Then they have the Model X, which is going to be an SUV that they're hoping to, the price being around $35,000-$40,000. And then the Model 3, which will be basically, it almost even looks like the Tesla S, but it's just a dumbed down version. It's still going to have 200-mile range, but it's going to cost anywhere from $30,000 to $35,000. They're trying to make it more available to folks. And
like a basic sedan.
yes, Tesla is also creating a huge infrastructure of the superchargers, is what they're calling them, and their charging stations. You can get a 170-mile charge in 30 minutes. And so people have been and are continuing to do cross-country trips because they have them along all like Highway 65, 70. They've gridded them out on all the major highways, so you can get across country basically, north, south, east, west, doesn't matter. I mean, if you look at the map of where the charging stations is, they're just all over, and you can tell right the highway. And they plan on just continually expanding this. I foresee in my lifetime, we won't be selling IC engines anymore. They're just not going to be viable. They're not going to be anywhere. It would be a dumb decision to buy it. So I think they're going to be old news after a couple decades or something. I don't think they'll be around, being sold. They'll still be around, but not being sold.
What's that 170-mile fill-up cost?
I believe they're free to, no, not free. You paid for a Tesla. It's in that cost. So they're not free, but the charging stations to Tesla owners are free. And he's also talking about right now trying to amend the superchargers, right? Because right now superchargers can only charge Teslas. That's it. They can't charge your Nissan Leaf. They can't, because it's charging at like 150 amps, whereas Nissan Leafs can only handle like max 50. So you would fry your car if you tried to use a Tesla.
Where is the nearest supercharger?
Columbus.
But it's Tesla.
It's Tesla.
Yeah.
So people who don't have a Tesla do it at home?
Yes.
Charge at home just
They have
out
a
of
charging
regular
station
outlet?
right in their garage.
Is it different than a regular outlet?
You literally plug this thing into an outlet and the charger charges your car. 8 to 10 hours, somewhere in there, I forget. Tesla owners and everybody, some people have the fast chargers for the Tesla, so they put theirs on there. A lot of people in a lot of cities, so that people with Nissan Leafs, if you want to travel across country, you still could, you just have to network yourself. So when you stay overnight here, you plug in your car here and go stay at the hotel, kind of thing, and it charges overnight, you get back in and toodle away.
How much is a charger, a home charger? What are they?
Normally they come with the vehicle.
Oh.
I have a neighbor with the Chevy Bolt and she got the charger with the car.
Yeah, I think the 120 volt charger comes with the car, and then if you want the one that does it a little bit faster, you have to pay for that one.
Thank you.